Good evening, Super League fans and managers. I hope you can hear me. Should be all right for volume. I'm just double checking. I can see Duggan is here already. I heard something about a major semi. Well, there is indeed a major semi around, but there's a couple of elimination final second legs first. It was there's far too much pressure to get anything on. Right. Um, Evening to my co-commentator for the evening, Mr. Steve Wright, famous Dudley Hill manager. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening. I hope you're well, Martin. I won't go as far as say famous. Famous for wrong reasons at this present minute in time, I think. Where things have gone, but all good.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, managed to get at least the second half of the season. Well, the first wasn't too bad, but I think towards the end, a couple of results certainly picked up for you. And you've got your shiny new kit, so a big shout out to Mr. Edwards for his design efforts so far. I think is it 5 or 6 kits that are released already? They're looking very tasty.
He's teasing everybody away, he's dripping them out. And
Hmm.
I think if you don't manage to go through it tonight, I think we're going to get one tweet with them all just saying, this is them done. Rather than, but no, it's superb what he continually does. Not just for Super League as well, for the whole community in different sort of forms as well. I just think it's massive credit to him for what he does.
Yeah, it's always good to know someone with a bit of artistic ability. I mean, I couldn't draw a stick man to save my life, so 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 it's quite good. It's quite good to have Mr. Edwards on board with things like that. And I think I can say it now because he's out walking in the hill, so he probably won't listen. But I think Ian especially, and I think everyone else remembers when Ryan made his own Bolton Phoenix logo, which was I mean, it was all right, I guess, but not really up to the standards we would normally see in the Super League. But yeah, that was good fun nonetheless. I can see Mr. Fifey is here, Rob is here, Greaves is here, Wood is here as well. So looking like a full house. As mentioned, co-chairman Ryan is away in the hills somewhere. And I think he's taken Fulchester manager Mr. Chris Mack with him. So I do have instructions for Fulchester this evening, but I don't think either of them will be in the chat. I don't know what the Wi-Fi signal is like in, I don't know, the Lake District somewhere. So we'll get the action underway. Um, Steve, what do you make of the first two games? Fulchester, Spartak Sloths, Lokomotiv Boston, Northern Burn. Tight games, just a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're predominantly being what we probably majority of the time seeing in the playoff games. They're always tight, and it's I think it is as much a lottery as anywhere else throughout the season, as much as anybody can finish anywhere. But obviously, I know everybody knows that I don't think anybody's won it outside top two, and I don't think anybody's got to the final outside top three. So I think there'll be a couple of sides. The records are there to be broken out there, and there's a chance. I do think looking at the way things are lying, it is going to be a little bit difficult for a couple of teams at this present minute in time. But they're completely on a knife edge either way, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they both pan out.
Yeah, I think I mean one of the big things tonight, obviously, is that the reigning champions, Lokomotiv Boston, could potentially be out. So we could already have one thing clarified at the end of the evening, whether it will be consecutive titles for Boston as it was for Phoenix, but we'll see how they get on against the Northern Burn. So I hope all the managers are in here. I think they are, apart from Maka, which is expected. Fifey says no pressure. Martin had a bad day today, so need some good news, please. Well, you're not arguing with Simon Jordan earlier. How can it be a bad day when you're arguing with a celebrity like Simon Jordan on Twitter? Oh dear, dear, dear. Who else have we got? Champ Swan is here, and yeah, I think the boys are pretty much ready. Dimble's joined as well. All right, so we'll start with Fulchester against Sloths, unless anyone objects. I think so. Anyway, yeah, we will do. Um, Fulchester. Let's have a look. Only one change. I think he's put Ryan Giggs onto the bench instead of Dalmat. So Julio Arca, who's made a fantastic start to his Fulchester career, keeps his spot on the left wing, despite Ryan Giggs being match fit. What do you make of that, Steve?
Well, when the initial draw first got drawn, I didn't actually realise. I messaged Ryan after, and I saw Arca that were there. I said, "Is that Julio Arca or is it the other Arca?" He said, "Oh, it's Francisco." But he said
Uh,
because we were a bit undecided, he said, "You can have your pick." And I had an abundance of left-footed players anyway,
mhm.
and I took Francisco. He did a solid job the times he has played, and I know there is certainly one manager who's quite interested in what he might be able to do for him next season if he could end up there. But he on the game, he's absolutely superb. I'd play him personally over Ryan Giggs any day of the week because I just think he's got that. Ryan Giggs, he's got 5 assists in 24 games from his how good he was last season. I
Mm.
think that's quite a big drop for him. I'm really, really surprised though to see Maka go three at back and not have his little wall of four. Um, but when you look at his three centre halves as well, they're all very strong. All done exceptional jobs for him as well. And you can't from where he's come from, and he did a little bit of the messing about earlier in the season, playing tactics to just to try and prove points, like a few managers did, for him to get into that playoffs. And then looking at it now, I think he is a bit of a dark horse because of how he thinks about the game. I think as much as anybody, probably more than a couple of others, as
Mm.
much as he probably doesn't admit it. But yeah, this is really interesting with three at the back with a
Chris
1-0
Sutton though.
lead.
Chris Sutton starting though. I mean, I think maybe he's kept the three at the back because he probably knew that given the result of the first game, it was unlikely that Rob was going to go anything other than three up top anyway. So maybe that's why he's kept them. But Chris Sutton, I mean, yeah, I mean, he's to be fair, an 8 and a 9 in the last two games. It's difficult to drop him, isn't it? Considering how poorly his other strikers have been performing, you can't really blame him, can you?
No, I mean he would a 500k pickup from Dudley Hill. Actually, I think were Mr. Sutton. So, but when you look at Owen, who's been poor, he scored a couple of goals. I've actually been a bit of a geek and watching back. I have nothing to do with it, so I've been watching back from start of season today, just watching. And Owen, he had a little bit of a spell where he was looking all right, and Saviola is I know Macca's big on his myths. For me, Saviola is one of the biggest myths on the game. I never get a tune out of him, regardless of where I sign him for, if it's a big team, small team. So you can't, when he's coming to that bit of form, you can't really knock him for carry on picking him because the goals he scored have all seemed to be important goals, even though they're probably just about 1 in 3. But yeah, I don't think anything that Macca decides and does, I don't think it can ever be questioned because he's proven his worth as being one of the best managers in the league, in my opinion.
I mean, he's certainly done well to get his team to where they are. I mean, they weren't like overly fancy just because the back. I mean, Buffon's good in goal, but the back three or four or whatever he's had there, maybe not the best. Beckham, people don't get much from him. So, but we'll see how they go tonight against Spartak Sloths. I can see that Rob and Fifey already having an argument over something. Let's see. Spartak's lost on the other hand. Guerrero, so he swapped Guerrero for Peralta. Peralta was already on the bench, so Guerrero is still on the bench. Unless Rob, if you want to swap it, then just please let me know and we'll get that done. Um, Apart from that, he's got Scally in instead of Simeone. Parfenov is still on the right hand side, and there's a slightly different lineup. Tomadera starts and Sand is on the bench. I think he had um, Recoba started last time out, so that was um, that didn't go well, and he was obviously pulled at half time, so he's got the Tomadera in there. Surprised that they didn't score against Fulchester last time out, considering the scoring record that they've had in the past.
With Guerrero going off and Zerberto not playing, I'm not in the slightest, to be fair. I think looking at that front line, Tom Madeira, I think he's got potential in this save because obviously I think he scored 14-ish goals at Churchtown previous,
Yeah,
somewhere around.
he had 12. I think he got last season for that.
Yeah, and I think obviously Guerrero's a massive miss, and he has taken risks before with players that have been on orange injuries and orange tired
Hmm.
on the bench. But the main thing for Rob is last week, the last game, sorry, I think Salihamidzic got man of the match against Fulchester, playing at left wing back. if he's got a left wing back getting man at match and he's not scoring a goal, it shows how much he's missing Zerboto, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens tonight. Obviously, I'll just give Rob a chance if he wants to pick someone else instead of Guerrero for the bench, then he can do so in the comments. Obviously, Gamara is out. I'm not sure if that's a huge miss. I mean, he's played frequently, but he's down. He doesn't have the best average. The miss, as you mentioned, there is obviously say Roberto, who, to be fair, hadn't really been firing on all cylinders before he picked up the injury, but still a very very big, probably one of the best like left fullbacks in the or wing backs rather in the game. But we'll see how it goes tonight. Let's remind ourselves of the. I think it's been fairly even when they have played each other. Yeah, it definitely has three 1-0 away wins so far this season. We'll see how it goes. I haven't heard from Rob in the comments, so maybe he's quite happy to keep Guerrero on the bench. Oh, Albertini, there we go. That's fine, so we'll do that. So if we can have some predictions in the chat, please. Obviously, first game was a 1-0 win for Fulchester, so it's going to be exciting to see here who goes through. Steve, what do you think of this one?
I mean, I do think that the problem with the Sloth squad is as far up the league as they have been over my team. On paper, I've probably got a little bit better team. Probably says more about me, really. But when you're missing Zerbeto and Guerrero that have done so much for him, it'll take a massive effort to actually get over that line here. Maka, like I say, Maka is lined up perfectly for how Rob's lined up, and I wouldn't be surprised to even see a ball draw 0-0 here, just shutting each other out and Maka squeezing through to his to the next game.
Well, that could be on the cards, obviously, with those three defenders. Duggan says a 3-1 away win. Ian Edwards 2-0 home win. A couple of draws there from Dimble, Greavesy, and Fifey 1-1. Rob predicts he's going to lose. Front three for Sloss is dangerous. Unsure about the service. There's a red and black ballroom blitz coming here. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll take the first half on normal speed, and then we'll see how it goes before we slow it down for the second, if relevant. Good start for Fulchester, but Spartak Sloths coming straight back at them. Obviously, an early goal for either side could really put the cat amongst the pigeons, and it's Paul Scholes who opens the scoring for Fulchester. Sloths gonna have to start firing, get a couple of goals, and get back into this. I think it's away goals in this one, so a 2-1 win away from home should be enough for them, but it doesn't look as if they've had any kind of huge amount of chances or lots of pressure or anything like that so far. Oof, Desai on a yellow there. We have got Veracini. I don't know if he's a strict ref, but we'll see. Handed out a couple of yellows, and there's Patrick Vieira picking up as well. What are the rules here? Golden goal, extra time penalties, or what? Away goals? What? I think we have away goals, and if not, then there's definitely golden goal. I'm sure I remember that from previous seasons. You can see that somewhere. I can't remember where. Um, Fairly even first half, but Fulchester in pretty much in full control. What do you think, Steve? Looks like a repeat of the first match almost.
Yeah, I think the main thing is, like let's say, just lack of creativity from Sloss when you've got them three really good strikers. I mean, when things were getting, I think Dragon's Twitter account posted who you think your team of the season is. For reasons that I did say, I put Vieri in there because the goals he scored since joining Spartak, regardless of their erratic form, has basically kept them there or thereabouts, in my opinion. So it's just how's that ball getting to them with the likes of Peralta, who's probably too young at this level at this present time, and Salihamidzic, he's a fantastic player on game, but he's not going to do anything creativity wise like Zerberto can do. It'll take a big ask. I wouldn't be surprised to see them get an equaliser here and just make it a little bit tight. But yeah, I think it does look a little bit like writing's up wall at this present minute.
Yeah, so he's making two substitutions here. So we've got William Gallas coming on for Woodgate and Albertini coming on Peralta, who had a poor first half. We'll see if that makes things a little bit easier for them. Obviously, they've still got 3 players on a yellow, so that's a bit of a gamble, but that's what he's going to go with. I can see Macca's here. Evening, Macca. Hope you're enjoying the Lake District and the lovely hills. You had a pre-game instruction for David Beckham to be substituted for Biscan if he was on a 6. So if you want to do that again, then you are welcome to confirm. If you've changed your mind, that's also the case. But a very solid display from Fulchester. What do you think, Steve? Very, very. I mean, Varong and Beckham not the best, but everyone else is doing a good job here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go back to, like I said, I'll be watching loads back early, and we're talking about Nicky Butt having, somebody was saying something about he's got Macca t-shirt or Macca pajamas, and he's just been absolutely superb through the time since the redraw and since this like incarnation started. So he's absolutely bossing that. But he's had 8 touches of the ball, but he just kicked 8 people in meantime as well. And the amount of, it's funny because you see the little amount of ball that the home teams have in the first half.
Hmm.
It's quite a regular occurrence, and then you do see in second half that they do seem to get the foot on ball a little bit more, which probably be a little bit more of a worry as well for Rob at this present time. But yeah, I do agree with what he might have said previous about Beckham because I
Yeah,
don't rate him, and
he's
I do
putting.
think if that were me, I'd have said Prutton probably meant more of a right winger, but he's obviously trying to be defensive against Sally Amadic, who
Yeah,
man of man.
putting a bit of cover on for that side, I think is kind of the logic. I can see Champs One says pre-playoffs, Fulchester only had 1 clean sheet in the last 13 games, and Sloss haven't gone 2 games in a row without scoring all season, so that would be a first for them as well. Um, yeah, I mean, let's kick off the second. Let's kick off the second half. I think Ryan's joined as well. Wooder says Biscan plays everywhere. Right? Okay. All right, we'll kick off the second half and see how it goes. Biscan, of course, coming on for David Beckham there. We're going to run it at a little bit of a slower pace just to annoy people. Well, nothing is happening, so it doesn't really matter. 10 minutes into the second half, they say he lifts the ball forward. Here comes Vieri and Albertini with a header. It's kind of around this time on the hour mark. Sloth should really be getting in amongst it and getting a goal now to be in with a chance here for getting 2 before full time. Less than half an hour to play now. Here comes the run forward, and there is Sutton to Comandini getting involved there, but not able to put the game beyond doubt and finding that second goal. Varong now trying to do something fantastic. Didn't really happen for him. Not been as dominant as he sometimes can be. Varong of late, I think. Still creating chances, both sides actually. Chris Sutton involved again. Chris Sutton and Comandini seems to have found a little bit of a strange partnership, but I'm sure that Maka will be more than happy with their contributions. Um, Offside decision there for Sloths, not really working for them tonight. The 3 men look as if they've been completely kept under control so far by the 3 Fulchester defenders and Nicky Butt there in front of them. 15 minutes left to play. It doesn't look as if there's going to be any doubt about the outcome of this one. In fact, nothing has happened for about 20 minutes. A couple of minutes, 3 minutes, I think, of added time. Albertini tripped him, possibly picks up a yellow here. Yeah, that's his contribution for the second half. Um, Fulchester wins a corner there. It looks as if it's only going to be a question of whether Fulchester is going to make it 2. I don't think Sloss have got any way back into this, and indeed they don't. It stays 1-0, and Fulchester progress from the elimination finals or whatever they're called. But yeah, another dominant Fulchester display, completely neutralized the opponents, and it was only really their own finishing that let them down. Never in doubt, Steve.
No, I mean, how many times have we seen that from not just the Fulchester side, but Parmouth and Icos side previous that Macca had, where they'll get a little bit of a lead in front and the second half just seems to fly by. Even on fast, that was probably quicker than some of the halves we've seen in the second half on
Yeah.
normal spin on very fast. So that's testament to the way Macca does things. He'll never admit it, he'll be feeling slightly confident now because he's had good results against the teams above him as well, and that'll put him in good stead. But yeah, massive commiserations to Rob because he's been these last 2 seasons have been brilliant at Sloths. They can either score 5 against you or concede 3 or 4, but they have been fantastic entertainment. But yeah, I think when you've got obviously Van der Sar on a five, Johnny Woodgate, who I know he took him off at half time, is I don't really get the stats from it as much as I love him, being a Leeds fan. I don't think it suits him this game. But yeah, when you look at that, they were never really in game.
Yeah, I mean, and commiserations to Rob and the Sloths. They've been very entertaining all season, as I mentioned in the last episode. They are head and shoulders above everyone else when it comes to like total number of goals per game. I think what Scott also points out in the comments there, exactly what he did to me, same stats last year. Well played, Maga. Hardlines, Rob. Great season, mate. Yeah, it's really it's really a Maka kind of trademark, grinding out some really important wins here, and he's done it again. So congratulations to Fulchester. Let's see who was the architect of the domination. It was Valgarin, who's been I won't say unsung hero because we have mentioned him quite a few times. He had a brilliant season last season, and he's having another one now. But Nicky Butt, I mean, 809 average, which is going to go up even more with that nine. I think he got another assist today, didn't he? Yeah, that's seven assists from him for the season. He's a very very important player for him, and yeah, he'll probably go into the next round feeling relatively confident. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, Nicky Bush has been absolute revelation for him, and everybody knows he's good. I do look at the centre backs. Obviously, I think he got Balde in the auction because he knew he would up. I know he's a big fan of his.
Hmm.
He's also paid pretty big money for him, but obviously when he's performing the way he has, I actually did when I saw the team of the season and we did a little bit of a underwhelming thing posted. I've actually got one written down, like a few unsung heroes of teams that are not quite top at league firing, and Balar and Balde are the two centre halves in that team for me because I think they've got that. I mean, they have got that link, and I don't know if it works via them moving clubs due in the editor, etc. But they also got that club link Celtic from start of game, and
Hmm.
that's he's got, and he does know that they've got a little bit more in tankers than that as well,
Hmm.
and it could bode well for him going forward.
Yeah, I mean it worked out really well for him, and I guess you only need to score one goal if you don't have the if the opponents don't concede. Probably a little bit disappointing with the finishing from Verong and some of the guys, but overall probably delighted with the result. Balde would have been in my team of the year. He played more games, says Mr. Edwards. Yeah, 16. That's probably a little bit low. I mean that's I mean not quite half, but there or thereabouts. That's a fair point. But either way, speaking of Mr. Edwards and Northern Burn, that's what we're going to be looking at next. We've got Lokomotiv Boston against Northern Burn coming up. Strikerless formation in such an important game. Um, when you're chasing it as well. I mean he lost the first game 1-0, didn't he? Greavesy. So what do you think? What do you think of going a strikerless at home?
Have never seen Greavesy post something that he's never played. I did think for this one it might have been a little bit of mind games because people were a little bit shocked with what he played against Burnley the first time round, and he messaged me saying this is what I'm doing, and I said to him, I said I fully get that, trying to catch them on the up, playing a bit of something different, but when Burn are not thinking about Locomotive and they're thinking about themselves are playing the same formation, so changing it up too much to try and counter something, thinking people are going to overthink you, it's
Mm,
probably not the right move to do it against, in my opinion. There's a lot of arrows there, though, so um, but it goes back to that. When you look at Sigalco's had best seasons ever had in Super League, and we were talking, we were even on one of them videos earlier, the amount of arrows when you got with the ball, you've got two strikers, you've got three AMCs and two wingers. That
mm.
leaves Ramelow, Klompe, and Lawson a little bit exposed to what Ian's they've been performing through all season as well. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
if you're looking
surprised
at
when
the
you.
AMCs, I mean, you're leaving Ramelov with effectively with the Del Piero and Thierry Henry, who surprisingly perhaps has been two of the best AMCs all season. I think Thierry Henry was, I think I picked him for the team of the season, just because I was so surprised at his performance in that particular role. So yeah, that could be a little bit dangerous. But he does have Aymar back, which is going to be. I think he was missing in the last game, wasn't he? Yeah, he was missing there. So I think he's got a much stronger midfield with Ricardinho, Aymar, and Reusser. And the central midfield of Northern Bern hasn't been the strongest with I think Fiore he's had in there, Nakata, maybe played Robin every now and then. So maybe that'll work in Boston's favour as well. And obviously Bartes in goal has had a pretty decent season as well. Only conceded 28 in the regular season and one in the playoffs. Champs one points out Bern are pre-playoffs, no clean sheets in eight. Oh, and but Lokomotiv Boston with only one win in 10 going into this. So yeah, interesting, interesting. Uh, Kessman on the bench, and Sagi. Nothing really else to point a finger on or pick out here. I think he's going. I think he's going with it, and we'll see if it'll be enough. Northern Bernstein, as Champs one just pointed out there, they've not exactly had a bunch of clean sheets, but they managed one last time out. It's a strong side though. Do you think they can? Do you think they can do it here? 1-0 lead is a slender lead though, but do you think they'll have enough with the squad he's got out there today?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, when you looked at them fixtures, then there's not a lot of goals home or away, so they're not conceding a massive amount of goals, but they're not scoring too many either. So that, in its sense, bodes well for Ian for if they concede one, they might score one. I mean, like you alluded to, I think Thierry Henry at AMC that started at Astor, and he's carried that on, which is not something I'd have ever done on the game. In fairness, so I think massive testimony firstly to Alf for playing him there, and then Ian for carrying it on. Del
Mm.
Piero's been probably the best Del Piero I've ever seen on this game for the start. But yeah, I mean, you look at that, it's very strong. Robin's been in and out, and he's still very young, but he's got that little bit of quality that he can do something at the right moment as well. As much as I, I love Greasy, and we talk all the time, I really can't see past Burn progressing here.
We'll see. Big question is obviously going to be Sigalko if he's going to hit the score sheet tonight. I mean, stats are developing quite nicely for him as well, or his attributes rather. Cannavaro, very solid at the back. He's got Contra there. Jogatas is always good for an assist or two in an important game. So we'll see how it goes. For some reason, Toldo's still unhappy. I think his contract negotiations are still outstanding. But in terms of predictions, that Fiora Robin MC combo can definitely be dominated, says Doug. And yeah, that was my the point I made with regards to the Lokomotiv Boston midfield. But we'll see. For all his hard work on the t-shirts, you almost think that Ian deserves to progress to play Maka for the opportunity to make it a little bit further in the competition. But we'll see how it goes. Greaves is defending champion, never rule him out. What do you think, Steve? Can Boston get back into this one? They're going to need a goal and prevent Bern from scoring as well because of the away goals rule. So how do you see this one going?
Well, I sat on fence and said a ball draw last time. I can see the exact same this time, but I am going to put my neck on the line and say 2-1 Burn, and they're going to blow playoffs out by a little bit more excitement than the previous three games have been.
Well, Five he says 3-1 away win. Dimble goes for a 1-1 Doggan for a Desmond. Rob says a victory for Burn is a victory for football. Well, we'll kick off the first half and see if football is going to be the winner tonight. As Boston, strikerless Boston, take on Northern Burn in this elimination second leg at the Chip Shop car park. Oh my goodness, a ton of pressure from Northern Bern in the first 5 minutes. They could have quite easily made it 1-0 there, but Bartes is holding firm in the Lokomotiv Boston goal. But he's going to have to be at his very best, judging by the first 20 minutes, because it has been pretty much all Northern Bern. Lokomotiv Boston coming forward and hits them with the sucker punches, Ricardinho. And oh, here comes Serene. They're 2-0 up now. This is going to be crunch time for Bern to get back of it. They are now in the lead on away goals. What a first half we've got here. Tigalco puts Northern Bern into the driving seat again. They are looking to go through if it stays like this, but it doesn't. There's Aymar with his 10th of the season. That central midfield is working wonders for Lokomotiv Boston. Breathless first half, Steve. What do you make of that?
That's, do you know what? I don't think a 3-1 scoreline overly gives them stats. That's the one thing I will say is Greaves has got a big thing about getting players performing that I'm predominantly performed in the Super League before. Pablo Aymar this season has been absolutely unreal, in my opinion. And this is massive. I wouldn't be adverse to saying, though, that Bern are going to get a goal and go through on away goals. We saw first time last season, we saw the first time somebody got knocked out on golden goal, which I know Fife were quite fuming about. But I wouldn't be surprised to see away goals come into the equation here as well, unless Locomotive carry on the way they are and just really take it away from Bern.
Yeah, I don't know if I think if I was to hazard a guess, who has he got at the back? Walter Samuel. I don't know. Could it be a man marking thing and they don't have anyone to man mark because they're playing in AMCs? I'm not sure, but it's not gone well for Walter Samuel in the first half. No tackles at all. Cannavaro's been the tackling guy. How he's only on a seven, I'm not entirely sure. Tsigalko's obviously up there. He's had two shots and he's managed to score, but yeah, Bern are going to have to be a little bit more solid at the back and hope for Thierry Henry or someone to come and really show some character and get another goal in the second half. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's surprising, I don't know if there's any issues. I didn't really notice beforehand. The fact that Risp is on bench when he's got Udeze. I don't know if Udeze is not available. I'd have Udeze any day of the week because obviously he's proven at this sort of standard and this level.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, he started really well. And Mario Stanic is another one I lost out to in the draft, and he's done well in the spells that he's played for Ian as well. But there's a lot of improvement there as well. So if they can improve the second half, it goes back to what I said about I could see them getting a second goal because this game likes to throw things up like that. So I still won't be averse to 3-2, 3-2 Boston and Bern going through on away goals.
Well, it would be exciting. I'll tell you what else is exciting is that Antonio Cassano, who's come from literally out of nowhere, and he's done a half decent job, and he's getting two assists in that first half. Last goal unassisted, sevens and eights. Greaves is an absolute Bond villain, says Duggan. Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm sure he'd be delighted. He'll take it as a compliment. Um, I think it's going to be more of the same for Boston in the second half. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, they've scored 3 goals and it looks like they're dominating the game, but they've got 2-8s. So it shows they're not playing that well as well. And I mean, Casano is a big favourite of mine, as Greavesy knows. We've spoke about him quite a few times, and I think he's definitely somebody that, depending on how long the save will go, he will get better and better as things go on.
Hmm.
Um, Barthez, I put him in my like sort of not great team of the season because he's basically not been as good as he was. He contributed massively last season to where Greavesy finished, and I think he's not been quite as good, but he's getting numbers out of big players like Sorin. He's always one of my favourites. Like, before you knew all the cheap players and everything else, Sorin, you go buy him for 10 million. As soon as you started the game, you always bought Sorin. He's brilliant.
Hmm.
Zambrotta is good numbers out of, which I know Ian didn't get. I just think he got an assist last season, let alone anything else.
Yeah.
Uh, they do need to up it a bit, I think, to be not worried about conceding that second goal. But it it's completely now on a knife edge.
Still on a knife edge, definitely. We'll put it down to fast. And here comes Casano into the penalty area. Oh, we've already started. I missed the first minute there actually. 5 minutes into the second half, and there's a couple of chances for Lokomotiv Boston so far. Toldo's doing a decent job down in the Northern Burn goal. Perhaps didn't have the best first half. Here comes Del Vecchio forward. Soreen stays offside. Tigalco comes forward, chased by Laos, and it's that man, Maxim Tigalco. As you mentioned there, it could easily be 3-2, and here it is. But I would be very surprised if we don't see another goal in this one. I couldn't tell you which way it would go, though. But there's definitely been chances at both ends. And the way that Aimar's playing, Sorin is playing. Here comes Sambrota forward. Here's Casano coming forward. Oof, Martin Royce are there with a good chance. Half an hour left to play. Robin Gattuso, and here's Tigalco again. I saw his name coming up, and there's Thierry Henry, but Bartes parries it. As it stands, Northern Burn are going through, and the away goals rule. Ricardinho tries to chip Toldo. That would have been a spectacular fourth goal for Lokomotiv Boston, but it wasn't happening. 25 minutes left to play. Toldo with another fantastic save. I think goalkeepers have really upped their game here in the second half, especially Toldo in the Northern Burn goal. Just 20 minutes to play now, and Lokomotiv Boston keep coming forward and keep creating chances. Another Toldo save pushes us out for a corner. Nothing came of that. 15 minutes left to play now, and it's Del Vecchio to Ramalov into Klump, and here comes Casano. Robin does something, gets the ball, and Thierry Henry is down the other end having a chance. Bartes with the save. It's non-stop action really here. Who was that? That was Sorin who chipped Thierry Henry. Free kick awarded. Del Piero has a go, but I think the ball was deflected off the wall. 10 minutes to go now. Lokomotiv Boston still looking for that elusive fourth goal. They do have chances, but it's Northern Burn coming forward, and there's Tigalco with a header skipping the top of the bar. That could have probably put the game to bed. Wasn't to be though. Will they live to regret that? As Lokomotiv Boston comes forward again, another fantastic save by Toldo. Toldo punches it clear as well. I mean, he's heading towards man of the match if he can hold on to his second half clean sheet here. Just a few minutes left to play, and here comes Casano forward. We tripped Casano, so it's going to be a free kick. Shoved by Gattuso. They're really putting their bodies on the line now, Northern Burn, trying to keep Lokomotiv Boston away. That's probably the second half of the season, this one, in terms of action. Just a couple of minutes left to play now. It's now or never for Lokomotiv Boston as Ricardinho comes forward. Royce Sambrota and Toldo saves again, unbelievably, for Northern Burn. Is this going to be it? Final whistle. It is, and Northern Burn progress to the next round. Oof. That was a little bit wild, wasn't it?
That was the best half of football I've witnessed in the Super League. That were unreal. And Reevesy can be a little bit, pardon the pun, aggrieved by that. But yeah, Jesus, that way. I just thought at half time that's what we're written all over it. It's written in stars. And massive congratulations to Ian for getting within the game of getting to the final. Greavesy will be tearing his beard out because he's not got no hair on. But that honestly, that was the best half of football I've seen in Super League. Most enjoyable half of football I've ever watched. And I don't think there deserved to be a loser there going on the game itself. But obviously over the two legs, I don't think Lokomotiv were that good in the first game. But yeah, I'm a bit struggling with that because it's brilliant, brilliant.
It was a wild second half. I mean, the early goal from Tigalco, and then it was just yeah, it was just it's unbelievable. I mean, how Francesco Toldo is getting a 7 when when he saved 9 of the 12 shots on target. I'm not sure. Tigalco, obviously man of the match, heading for glory and perhaps a top scorer award. Who knows? He's obviously got a few games still to not a vintage Northern Burn performance, but they did just about enough, didn't they?
Yeah, it takes Tigalco and Contra out of that. They've done extremely well to go through, and it didn't seem from the commentary. You wouldn't have thought they were 1-9, 1-8, and rest of that. I mean, like told over on a 10, wasn't it? Everything we were watching then told over on a 10, and I mean it's the game and it does that to you at times, but I think that'd be most pleasing thing for Ian as well because he knows looking at them ratings and look at the way they played, they've got a hell of a lot more in tank going forward.
Yeah, they could definitely come up with a stronger performance in the next game. Sigalco and Del Piero 6 times offside each, 12 between them. That's quite impressive performance from them. But obviously a solid, very very solid display from Northern Bern, and they just get it over the line with that away goals rule. If you're looking at the stats, it actually looks as if Lokomotiv Boston were the slightly better side, which is again surprising why Toldo's on a 7 after that. Del Vecchio probably the only guy letting the side down. Anything that you think Greavesy could have done different here, or halftime sub maybe put a Ronaldo on instead of Del Vecchio. I mean, I think he was at a 7 at halftime, but still Ronaldo is Ronaldo, you know.
I mean, the Ronaldo in this save, he obviously got him from me. The Ronaldo in this save is the best Ronaldo I've seen. Um, I think the only thing Greavesy could have done, if Greavesy had played a striker, could he have scored more than 3 goals? Me
Mm,
personally, I would have said maybe yes, he could have put it to bed. But yeah, that's not a side. The look at the range they've outplayed Bern easily, and Zambrotta against his old club having a really good game, but he's got no assists, which is a bit strange. But yeah, Greaves will be on, especially look at them ratings when you've got half your side on eights and nines. But they've won the game, which them ratings say you will do. But
yeah.
yeah, it'll be back to the drawing board, and I'm sure we'll go back to seeing Greaves play a lot more what he played season one than this season, next season, because his pride will be hurt.
I mean, he'll be determined to get something out on next season, and I think he has got a strong squad. So we'll definitely we'll see him back in actions. But yeah, commiserations, Greavesy. We will have a new champion of the Super League this season, and congratulations to Ian, who is with his Northern Burnside is still in the hunt for that. So what we're gonna have to do now is just quickly throw on the pause screen for a second there, um, while we progress the game to the next stage, which because the next game is a day later, so I'm just gonna click that in the background, just keeping it secret for everyone apart from Steve, obviously. But there we go, in case anything interesting comes up. But I don't think it does, and we can go back to the live action with dragons and devils. Another very interesting encounter. Um, we'll have a look at the dragons first. Um, so yeah, it's all on the line for dragons and devils. Of course, the loser of this one still has another chance because they play the winner of whatever the other game is. So no one gets eliminated at this stage, and there is even a second leg as well. But obviously, you want to be in that lead position, and you want to go straight into the final. What do you reckon of the Dragons, Steve, and their chances? They've mixed it up a little bit here.
Yeah, it's a bit different to what they played all season, but they're trying to counter what 5 years played for the majority of the season. They're trying to man up in the centre midfield, and I think they were rightly doing so. I mean, the thing is, they've been like ourselves, like Churchtown. Their away form's been superb, so they know they've got a little bit of a chance, regardless of the outcome when they go to Devils. So I I think it's strong. And the main thing for me looking at that is they've got that's obviously the strongest side they've got available.
Mm,
One or two players that probably would not get in other teams. But the thing with the Dragons this year, which is what I'm sort of trying to aim to do for next season, with what we're trying to do is it's a team effort. They've got nobody that's crazy stat wise. They've got nobody that's doing too much of this, too much of that. It's a whole team effort, which I think if you've got that, it's better than having one person scoring 18, 19 goals, better than one person getting a 8.48 average when all the rest of them are rubbish. It's a complete team effort, which I think that's testimony to what lads have set up. and obviously all three of them, like we had in a chat the other day. Um, as much as one of them tends to mourn a lot, he puts a lot more in than people do. But this war alluded to when we were talking the other day that they haven't beaten them yet, but it's there to be done though. And
Yeah, and it was close. I mean, 2-1, both home and away. So it definitely can be done. But yeah, it's it could prove difficult, and obviously they're without Taribo West, but I think the replacements have done all right. To your point about the 18, 19 goal a season striker, they're obviously also in a position where they absolutely do not have an 18 goal a season striker, whether they wanted him or whether they wanted it or not. Steve is hinting that one of the Dragons moans a lot. He says Dragons 5 clean sheets in their last 10. Um, yeah, they've been keeping it. They've been keeping it quiet, and they obviously didn't concede many. Do you think that's the key to Dragons getting through here or beating the Devils? Is that keeping that clean sheet, or can they go toe to toe with them?
yeah, I definitely think that the whole basis of their season has been basically the players they've brought in. So Lucio were quite obviously readily available from Gazelles, which they did a very good deal for.
Hmm.
David's from me, I which I've done. Out of the two players I got for Edgar Davids, I got Serginho and Boya, which I thought were a very good deal for me. And
Hmm.
Serginho far outplayed Lee Boya, who's been borderline demic. So I don't think it's a case of going toe to toe. I think it's a case of doing what they've done all season, just be tight at back, and if they get a chance, try and take it.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. Fifey says he probably hasn't had 5 clean sheets all season. Champs One points out that he's actually had 7, which is not too bad. It's obviously less than the Dragons, but presumably anyway. But yeah, although maybe not many. One, two, three. No, I don't think it's that many. That's much of a difference. Um, Moving swiftly on. The Devils, pathetic when they got 5 and 10. Right, so Fifey is without Nesta. He is without Emerson. Novotny's unhappy, but apart from that, this is how he lines up. A defensive, would you say, with Van Bronckhorst in there, with Koku, with Dyer? I mean, there's what a bunch of defensive players here. What is that? 7 defensive players. Ferguson, a midfielder, Kuhl, and Pensa in there. These three in like their normal positions, but all of these are defensive players. Is he just is he going to be happy with a 0-0 draw in this game? Do you think?
That for me, the fact that Kuhl's playing AMC and he's not maybe playing like wing back and then maybe a two up top with Mpenza and Montella or Montella behind. I've had really good numbers out of Montella playing AMC. So I think his thing is just not to lose here and take a moment. His own form's been extremely good. It really has.
Hmm.
The three at the back for him. It was sort of a little bit of a turn. His form was a bit erratic. He went really well. Went a little bit erratic, so he put three at the back, and he's done really well since playing three at the back as well. And but when you've got even when nested out, when you've got the quality that he's got there in Kibu, Montero, Oliano, if you add Nesta into that, it's difficult to not want to play three at back as well.
Hmm.
As much as it's not really frowned upon, but not really successful as per se in the league. But yeah, they're trying to match each other. Both are trying not to lose, in my opinion. And
Yeah,
something
it does look a little bit like it, and it's interesting you mentioned that with the 3 defenders that there's been that kind of development that we're now seeing it because it was almost unheard of in a couple of seasons ago. I don't think anyone really played 3 at the back unless like it was like a joke or they were desperate or something like that. But now it seems as if people are finding a little bit of success with it. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes on. Fifey says he's already regretting moving Giovanni van Bronckhorst. I think he's your best. winger, Fifey, and he has 10 assists of the season. So I'm not sure what he's doing in there, but that's okay. We'll see how it goes. Montero can definitely be got at. Gets on a bit and getting on a bit and loves a red. Oof, yeah, that's. I mean, we haven't had a look at that next match. David Dwight. We can maybe have a quick look at the referee stats. See if we can find him. I think this sorts by surname. David Dwight. No, he's a fair referee. He's not given a red all season, so that's jinxed. Um, with that, with that, predictions welcome in the in the comments, obviously. And Steve, both teams set out to defend, low scoring. Do you think this one, or is something going to give, and we'll see a bunch of goals for unexplained reasons?
Yeah, it's either going to be a low scoring draw because the way they're both set up, or it's geared up for a on break, Devils nicking it. But I can't see past the draw. I don't like seeing offence at all, but
Mm,
I they just I don't think Dragons have got enough there in that front line. They've got superb from midfield back. I just don't think they've got enough in that front line to really trouble it on break. I could still see it finishing a draw this one though, and then going to a 10-second leg next time
hmm
out.
Wood says 3-0 Dragons. Then Megahost says it's going to be a 2-2 game. This one. Greaves you 1-0 home win. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Will be interesting. As with the other games, we'll do the first half on high speed, and we'll catch up in the second, depending on the obviously what's going on here. 6 goals between the first two fixtures between these two. 5 of the 6 goals scored in the previous two fixtures came in the first half. So yeah, it could be an exciting first half. Ian Edwards goes with a 2-1, which would be same result as we've had twice this season already, but I think he's doing it in Dragons' favour. 2 of 5 is centre backs to get a 6, says Dimble. We'll have a look and see what happens. 15 minutes and absolutely nothing happened, and then there was a chance for the Dragons, and now the Devils are coming forward. 25 minutes played, and yeah, a couple of chances for either side. Van Bronckhorst is creating. Oh, Van Bronckhorst! It turns out to be a genius decision to put Giovanni Van Bronckhorst in central midfield there. Fifey. He's opened the scoring for the Devils. 1-0, an important away goal. We saw that in the previous game how important away goals can be in this, and the Devils lead 1-0 as we come up to half time. The Dragons have actually been creating quite a few chances considering how the relatively defensive their lineup was. But let's have a look. I mean, slightly in the Devils' favour, isn't it? That first half, it looks as if they're on for another victory against the Dragons, who've just not managed to get the ball into the Devils' half. Really, we'll see how the goal came about. Van Bronckhorst took an excellent first touch. It was Dyer who found him. Kieran Dyer obviously having a pretty marvelous season as well. Um, your thoughts on Devils in their first half performance, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kieran Dyer's been the best Kieran Dyer that's ever been seen in Super League, but I don't think he's been predominantly played at right wing back as much as Fife has done in previous teams or previous incarnations. So you've got to players as much as everybody knows that's not his position in terms of real life. But yeah, that's the thing is going in Fife's favour is he's won the 4 games, and it seems like it's a little bit of a uphill battle for Dragons to actually get that monkey off the back and try and get a win. The worst thing is it's trying to get a monkey off your back after losing 4 times against a team in 2 seasons in a massive game like this, where they've got some really big players of Devils,
Mm.
but not over yet. And I'm sure that I'm sure there's some as we know, there's some decent players in Dragon's side that can certainly cause them some problems in the second half.
Yeah, we'll see Paulo Montero already on a yellow, which is good. Obviously, he doesn't have a plethora of central defenders on the bench, so he's keeping him on. I would have perhaps considered that, but either way, Dragons with their first half performance. We'll see what the what the Dicks come up with at halftime in terms of substitutions. They obviously have players on the bench. The kind of midfield experiment. They said they didn't want to be overrun in midfield. They put Davids and Joe Cole in there. Both of them are on sixes, so that's not really worked out that well so far. And back is perhaps a little bit disappointing, only picking up a 6. Anything that stands out for you? I mean, say Elias obviously doing a brilliant job, but do you expect the Dragons to make any changes here at halftime?
I probably not know. I mean, I think that 7 for Zelius is it's really harsh, really considering the amount of tackles he's put in. Oliver Kahn's doing what he has done all season, which will be obviously it's been a massive relief to him all season compared to what it was last season. Um, it's like what can you do there? What's on that bench that could change things? What could spark something?
Yeah,
And
they're
it's
gonna do Bosveld. Bosveld's coming on for yeah, they're pulling Elias on that yellow for Bosveld, and then drop Davids in. So I guess this. Yeah, that's his
yeah,
natural position, isn't it? So that makes sense. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, so that's what they're doing. I mean, Edgar Davids is a defensive midfielder, so maybe it makes more sense to play them. It's a little bit more attacking, if not a lot, to be honest. Um, do, do, can they do it? I guess is what we all want to know. What do you think? Can Dragons find a goal here, or do you think Impensa's gonna jump up and turn the lights off?
they've got a goal in them, but it's whether they can keep Devils out for the whole second half when they've had, like I say, historically they've had really good results against them, and
Mm.
I wouldn't be surprised to see as much as I love all lads. I wouldn't be surprised to see Devils get a second goal here and try and put a bit of pressure on for that second leg.
Well, we'll see. We're kicking off the second half, and it could be a Constantino Bosveld or someone with an early goal for Dragons could really make it interesting now. But obviously, the Devils have got. I mean, they have got a strong first half performance to build on here in the second half, and they have got the players to obviously do it the way that Kieran Dyer has been playing, the way that Impensa has been scoring goals. They obviously are in a virtual driving seat here, given the previous results as well. It looks as if Dragons have had a couple more chances, and there is the first problem for the Devils that they're going to have to overcome. Giuliano picks up an injury, so we'll see what Fifey wants to do with this one in terms of substitutions. So he's got a couple of injuries. He can even pull Dyer back, I guess, and put Mackay on that right hand side. Gigu can probably play there in a pinch, maybe, or play centrally and move Montero out. What do you reckon Steve is going to go with?
Yeah, well, I don't think there's any other option than going Guigo there. You don't want to move Dyer there because he's a dwarf in real life. When you got the Greek waiter, who's quite a tall man. But yeah, not having a centre half on bench is playing 3 at back and not having a centre half on bench is obviously come back to bite Fifey a little bit. But I still won't put it past them just getting the result here.
Just to see it out. He's putting Gigu on. He's obviously got full faith in him. So we'll see how that works out for them as Dragons continue their search for a second goal. We'll just slow down the pace again. We missed that. Yeah, 23 minutes to go. A reckless challenge. Only a yellow card for a reckless two-footed challenge. Devils riding their luck here. Oh, and there is Gravison with a red card. And there is Kuhl picking up an injury. Oof, Fifey. It's all going very interesting. What would you like to do here with Kuhl injured and Gravison off on a red? You um, don't really have that many DMC options now. What do you what do you think, Steve? Again, you're in Fifey's shoes here. What are you gonna do? Van Bronckhorst to DMC and Kuhl back maybe and someone on?
For me, if you're trying to see the game out and trying to go in a Greavesy sort of mindset, it'd be Van Bronckhorst back, winning 1-0. Van Bronckhorst back for me. Pull Keel back, and I would pull everybody back and play without a striker now and just try and right.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's
that's
what
fair.
that's what he's doing.
Good.
And meter for cure. Right. Okay. Yeah, so so a big long line. Sorry, there's the I was trying to read the 5 instructions. I think I've done it right. So he's pulling Koku to DM, Gio to left wing back, Barry on his own, and MC and Mido on for Q. So that's what he's going to go with. So he's obviously he's still having a bit of a go here. I think he didn't pull two down to the MC area. So we'll see how that goes. Ferguson and Montero banned in the second leg. Right. Well. We'll see. We'll see. Um, it's now or never for Dragons, isn't it? They need to get
Yeah,
at least one goal now.
and being a man up, this is the chance to really put pressure on and really get a goal. So
And that's four players, I think, that five. Well, we'll see. Will Juliano and Kuhl's injury? Those could both be out for the next game. Gravison will definitely be out, and Montero will probably be suspended as well. So let's see. Dragons in with a shout here, but let's have a look and see how the rest of the half unfolds. Probably goalless. Who knows? Good save by Frey there in the goal. It's definitely all going in the Dragons' directions in terms of oh, and there's another injury for her for for Fifey. Who do we what do we do now? Have we used all? Oh no, we've got another substitute to go. Um, I'm not going to ask you. We're just going to Steve. I'm just going to wait for Fifey. This has not gone well, has it, in terms of injuries? What's the fitness regime at the Devils these days? Do you think?
I think that's I don't know. I don't even know what I'd do there. Do you know what? For me personally, I put Roy Mackay on for him, and I'd pull Van Bronckhorst back and swap him with Dyer. Cocu at left, Dyer in centre, and then Mackay on right. But
Mm.
that's it's all. But this is putting more pressure on second leg than anything else. And Dragons have got a massive chance to take advantage of this, even if it doesn't happen now.
Oh, sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm trying to follow the instructions here. Kaku to centre back, Gio to DM, and Mackay to wing back. All right. Well,
Yeah.
he's only got another 13 minutes to hang on, so it could all still go five his way, but we'll see how it goes. I think I've done this right. That's the instructions anyway. So oh, that's a busy one. 13 minutes for Dragons. It's kind of now or never. Simon Jordan loving this. Well, he might have had words with Mr. Dwight. 5 minutes left to go. Davids with a great interception. Joe Cole comes forward. Constantino there, Baumer up against Roy Mackay now. You would have thought that he could get past him, but it doesn't look as if Dragons can break it down. Devils doing very, very well to hold on to this with a makeshift lineup, to be completely honest. And it does peter out, slightly disappointing there at the end. I mean, Dragons came into it a bit in the second half, but it was really all about that injury crisis for that developed for the Devils, wasn't it? I mean, lucky for him, he didn't do any subs at halftime, so he managed to keep at least 10 players on the pitch.
Yeah, the thing is, yeah, I totally get it. I'd have probably left, like I was saying, I'd probably left Van Bronckhorst left wing back, put Dyer in at centre because he does do decent numbers there, and Mackay at right. But
Mm,
do you know when you try to get on with it, that's massive for five. But I think the overall game is bigger for Dragons. With the players that Fife is going to be missing in his own leg, and Dragons away form is superb. It's really you can't call that second leg. Cannot call that second leg.
yeah, it's going to be difficult. Five says our errors were wrong. Absolutely delighted. Were they? I'll double check. Oh, same tactics, but can you please alter arrows as above? Well, I could have done if I had noticed that, but yeah. Apologies if you'd. I didn't know if you meant. Did you mention that at the beginning? I might have missed that. So apologies for. I mean, luckily it didn't impact the result. So apologies, Fifey. I missed that part about the arrows. But yeah, it worked out all right anyway. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst really carrying the side. Is he a bit of a surprise of the season kind of player, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, do you think?
No, I think he's very, very, very good in the game. I think he had a really good season for him last season as well.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, he did indeed.
I think, yeah, I think he's up there with not the complete elite of defensive midfielders, but I think he's in that little bit of a bracket between the elite and the next level down. He's sort of like sat in between,
Hmm.
and his posting numbers like that proves his worth in the league and for Fifey as well. And I know he'll be delighted with that, but he'll be scratching his head massively once he gets his pack for the
Yeah, I was
next
gonna
game.
say he'll be looking forward to receiving the pack so he can see what he's actually got to work with for the next game. Barry Ferguson picks up a yellow. I don't know if that means a suspension from him or Montero, but we'll able to confirm that, or Fife, you can confirm that later. We'll see what happens. Um, Dragons are going to be disappointed that they didn't capitalize on that, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, apart from Ronnie Johnson, it's not a bad performance at all. They played really well. I think the lack of a goal will probably infuriate them a little bit more, but a six, and then you've got decent eights and sevens against the what Devils have had to cope with. I do think that it might be a little bit of a mischance in terms of maybe getting a goal,
Mm.
slightly maybe nicking a win. But as we've found as of tonight, that away goal is massive as well for Devils, regardless of what they may or may not have available next game.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if they, that's always good to take into the second leg, an away goal. Didn't see anything from back this evening. He had a good game last time. Constantino was again firing hot and cold, mainly ice cold at the moment. That's really a. I mean, I know I've been going on about it. I don't want to hate on the Cypriot waiter anymore, but this isn't. Uh, I mean, I think one of the dragons mentioned it earlier. They said it's a good squad for collecting league points, but they don't have the players to go toe to toe in the playoffs. And I will say from a striking perspective, I definitely agree. That's an area that probably needs a bit of attention over the break. But yeah, nonetheless, that's how it finished. Competition, it says there. Let's have a look and see what we can see in terms of. Oh, I need to click continue, don't I? Right, there's the Hools, interesting. So let's have a look at the fixtures as they line up. So next up, we've got Northern Burn against Fulchester. Obviously not now, but that's the minor semi-final. And I think that's one leg to figure out who's going to play the loser of Dragons and Devils in the whatever elimination final. And then at the same time, in the next show, we'll have Devils against Dragons. Couldn't disagree more with. I'm not sure what Five he's disagreeing with. He's disagreeing with something. So either way, that's the next games that we've got coming up. It's going to be the Devils and Dragons that return leg, and it's going to be Northern Burn at home to Fulchester. I think by virtue of having a higher league position. Who's your favourite going into this one? Burn against Fulchester.
Oh, you got the Burn side that have been really good against the meticulous Fulchester side who have doing the business in a not sneaky way, but they got a little bit better of it. And if form tonight with Dragon and Devils has gone forward, Fulchester have got a massive chance. I genuinely can't call that one,
Mm,
in honesty. Um, and like I say, the next leg of Devils Dragons. And the one thing that I did notice then with that last week, Constantino, he won all five tackles that he tried, so he's obviously putting some effort in as well. Just
Put him
so you
down
don't.
at the back, maybe. Do you think a case? I mean, considering that they're guaranteed another pop at it, Dragons anyway, do they just go all in? Like, I mean, I don't want to obviously ask any of the managers to give it away in the chat, but would you, in this case, just go all in the search for that second goal and just go caution to the wind, three guys up front, whatever they've got, and then see if they can get a result against the Devils? And if not, then they just revert to type and play the winner of Burn and Fulchester, which is not going to be an easy game anyway.
I think the basis of Dragons' form and the way they've done so well this year has been their consistency in their formation. So I'd probably say no at this present moment in time. It's probably something I would do. But they've been that consistent. Maybe revert back to there when they played no CM, maybe three AMCs and have
Mm,
a go that way. But I don't think we'll see massive amount of changes because, like I said, they've been so good in terms of consistency and the way they've won games, lost games, not conceding many. Not, I know they've not scored many, but
hmm
they've scored more that line. So yeah, I probably wouldn't expect it, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the four DMs, three AMCs, then a striker just to have a little bit of a go. But they're going to be at home in the net. If they don't win, they're going to be at home, and I don't know how they'll feel about that because their own form's not been as good as their
Not been
away form.
brilliant. Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. Sigalco now level with Emilian Pensa for the top scorer chart here. Looking for that obviously. That big golden boot at the end of the season. Let's see how it goes with the assists. Yeah, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst up there with the assists. With a chance of obviously winning that. Um, a Baumer with 9 assists, would have expected a little bit more maybe from him, but yeah, it's all to play for the Dragons. And as mentioned, if they do lose this one, they still have the I'm gonna bring this up so I can get the terminology right. They're gonna have the preliminary final to fall back on if they do lose against Devils, and obviously the winner of that game will go straight to the grand final where they will play either um, Dragons again if it's Devils that go through, and then the winner, whoever Dragons, if they beat the winner of Fulchester and Burn. I always overcomplicate this. Either way, Steve, I think that concludes the show for this evening. We managed to stretch 3 games out to an hour and 10 minutes, so well done. Thanks very much. I do like a bit of a chat and the long games. I think it makes it exciting at this stage of the season. So thank you for your contribution as always. It's much appreciated.
Just interrupt just before I go, Matt. It's
hmm
obviously going to be the last time I'm doing comms with you before you obviously relinquish your position and say like I think it's been unreal what you've done for the league, getting it to where it is now, putting it in the position it is. From me being watching to now, like being involved, what you've done for the league has been superb, and a lot of massive credit needs for anything that happens going forward. It's probably more from your base for taking it to the next level from what it previously used to be. So
Much appreciated, Steve. Much appreciated. I mean, I think Ryan will when he comes back from the Lake District, will probably do the next games. But I'm hoping to still be in attendance for the grand final, obviously for those still left in the comments or in the chat if anyone's still there. So my ticket is booked for the 1st of August. So that'll be the Sunday where I will at least temporarily depart these isles. So and I won't be taking my computer with me. So we'll see how it we'll see what I get up to after that. But it's definitely been a pleasure. But I'm thinking I'll throw a little video out or something before we go. So, but thanks, Steve. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. I'm glad you guys all enjoyed. Okay, packs will be out shortly for the remaining managers, and once Ryan is back from I don't know what he's doing in the Lake District. Something interesting. I'm sure he'll let you know when the next round will be. Maybe Wednesday. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much, managers, for joining in the chat, and we'll catch you all again soon.
good night, all.
Good night. Evening.